Hi everyone, it's Wayne here, also known as ThePlantaholic. It's been 3 weeks since I last posted my last video, and so I thought it was long overdue to post my newest video. I think you'll be amazed how quickly the garden has grown over the last few weeks. Starting off in my conservatory, you can see the lovely red flowered mandevilla, and next to it is the tall Hedychium maximum. I'm hoping it will flower for the first time this year. I need to pot it on into a bigger pot and give it lots of potassium to get it into flower. It's one of the biggest Hedychiums, if not the biggest, but it needs quite a lot of heat. So I'm going to keep it in my conservatory, pot it on and feed it up well to try and get it to bloom. So heading outside. My plumbago is starting to get some flower buds on. It's plumbago capensis. You can see the sky blue flower buds appearing on there now. Trachelospermum still flowering. Got a lovely scent. Some black-eyed Susans or Thunbergia alata is doing well now. It's starting to creep up the supports there. Nice bidens. Hoverflies and bees love that, and butterflies too. Got the Abutilon megabotanicum. It's got the odd flower on there now. And another black-eyed Susan in yellow. Again, that's reached onto the support now and going for it. I've got several sonchus or tree dandelions or tree sow thistles that I've grown from seed, and these are from the Canary Islands. I'll get up to 2 meters plus tall and have sprays of yellow dandelion like flowers. I've finally potted on my Brahia armata palm, and it's looking quite impressive now in that pot. It's added a lot of extra height to it. It's added at least 6 inches, if not more, to the height of the overall palm, and it's really loving it. You can see there's lots of new growth in the centre. I'll just go around the other side. You can see all the new spears coming up. I've only had it since the last week in April, and it's grown so many leaves already. So last time I did my video, we had a heat wave in the UK, got up to the low 30s, about 33 degrees Celsius, or the low 90s Fahrenheit. But since then we've had 2 weeks of cool autumn-like conditions. The temperatures have gone down to 14 degrees in the afternoon, or 54 Fahrenheit. So it was a big shock to us and the plants. But we had a lot of rain, so the plants have loved that. And now the weather conditions have improved again. So we're going to have temperatures pushing the 80s or 26 degrees later on this week. So things are going to grow really, really quickly now. So there's a view of the garden. As you can see, it's filling out lovely now. It's looking really lush and green, and I normally find from around this time of the year, today's the 12th of July 2020, it starts to fill out quite markedly all of a sudden, and then that's when we start seeing a lot of the flowering period begin. And then really it's onwards and upwards from now until October. I normally bring all my stuff, all my tender stuff in around about a month after the autumn equinox, so around about the 21st of October. That's when I bring everything in. So from now until then, everything's going to be out here, loving the conditions and doing really well. See here, we've got some Mirabilis jalapa, or 4 o'clock plant. So it's put on all the growth now. It's just setting the flower buds, and it's called the 4 o'clock plant because when the flowers open, you can just see the buds further down in the centre there. When the flowers open, they open after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so really they're a nocturnal type flower, and they're highly scented and moth pollinated at night. See, my mother-in-law's tongue or sansevieria have done really well outside, and I've got a Solanum crispum glasnevin or potato vine, Chilean potato vine behind that. It's struggled in height this year, but I think it's just getting its roots down to this new big pot, and it should go for it once it's got its pot full of roots. Got some old man's beard or Spanish moss or Tillandsia osneoides hanging up from the tree. And there's a small Nicotiana sylvestris or tobacco plant just coming to flower, and this is night scented and moth pollinated like the mirabilis. Washingtonia palm is starting to grow nicely now, and bromeliads are doing well. I've just purchased a new jacaranda bonsai blue from Sutton's, and it's an European exclusive. It's a naturally dwarf growing jacaranda mimosifolia, and jacaranda trees normally have to get very big before they'll flower, but they say that this one will flower when young, and it grows to a maximum height of about 5 feet, but even for the foliage alone it's worth growing because it's got that lovely fern-like foliage, and you can see the agapanthus next to it. It just gives you a little taster of what the jacaranda will look like with its own blue blooms, hopefully next May or June next year. That's the typical flowering period for jacaranda. So my other palm I've potted on too, which I bought at the same time as the brahia. It's Butea odorata, and again by putting it in its big pot it's brought it up at least 6 inches in height, and it's looking really, really cool now. So you can see my tiki bar there. The thatch was blown around quite a lot in the wind and rain, and I did lose some of it. I'd like to get some new thatch for the roof. It's quite a poor quality where I got this from, but it was quite cheap and quick at the time, but I would like to invest in a better roof for it, but it's okay for now. So my Kentia palm got a bit scorched by the sun in the heat wave, but I'm hoping that all the new leaves that it produces shortly will sort of overtake those bigger leaves at the back, and I'll be able to prune those scorched leaves out. Obviously this is just in the morning sun, so it was the morning sun that did that, not the actual afternoon sun, which I was quite surprised about. You can see a papyrus there, which the Egyptians used to make the world's first paper, Cyperus papyrus. And in my last video, if you saw that 3 weeks ago, you would have known that my big cycad looked like it was going to produce a new set of leaves. Well, I can confirm it is going to. I'll just go zoom into the centre. Can you see the new fronds just poking through there? One just there, another one behind it. So I'm really pleased with that. It only grows a new set of leaves every 2 years. I fed it really well, and obviously in this warmth we're going to get now in sunlight, it's going to grow really, really quickly. So within the next month it would have fully grown its new set of leaves, such as this. When all cycads are in pots and they're growing new leaves, it's very important not to move them, because if you move the plant around or the whole pot around, the leaves grow distorted, they twist. It's almost as if the plant knows where it was usually positioned beforehand. So it almost remembers where the sunlight was before, and if you move the pot, the new leaves sort of grow like a corkscrew and twist. So I'm going to keep this exactly how it is. I'm not even going to move it a millimetre to make sure that it doesn't do that, to make sure we get those lovely perfect arching leaves. I've also got a new plant, one of my favourite shrubs of all time, Tibucina urveliana. It's got absolutely gorgeous, rich, deep, velvety purple flowers, and I'll be planting this shortly in the border for the summertime. It's got lovely furry leaves, silvery sort of undersides, very, very furry. It's got a bit of a red tinge to the edge of the leaf, and then it also produces a bit of early autumn colour. So if I zoom into this leaf behind, you can see the orangey and the yellow in there, and this tiny little leaf here has gone red at the face. See how red that is? And you can get that happening all through the summer on the older leaf, and it's an excellent contrast with the deep purple flowers. My bromeliads are really colouring up nicely now in the sun. So you can see this Neoregelia fuego, it really gets really, really red now, which is fantastic. In fact, this one actually could be, yeah, this one's actually fireball. I think the fuego's next to it, yeah. So that's fireball. So I've got my Salvia amistad coming to bloom now. Gorgeous purple flowers with almost black bracts. And my Ensete Morellii is doing well now as well. Canna Australia, gorgeous rich colour. And then next to that is a Dahlia Bishop of Llandaff, which I find is hardy here. This has been outside for 2 or 3 years now. Dies down to the ground for the winter. And my first flower opened the other day on it. Unfortunately, some bugs got at it. It's a little bit deformed, but there's plenty more flower buds to come. So obviously I'll remove that one soon to make way for the new flowers. But gorgeous, very dark purple, almost black foliage. And next to that is the Lobelia laxiflora with those lovely red and yellow tubular flowers. Absolutely stunning plant, and again we find that hardy here in Birmingham in the UK. So here's a little bit of a view of that border, and you can see now that's really starting to fill out. See, the last time on my video you could see quite a lot of soil. Now you can only see a little bit of soil towards the front. Everything's vying for space. I've got Salvia Royal Bumble coming to flower now. A lot of the salvias are coming into bloom now. Of course, for you in the US, you'll have hummingbirds pollinating them now. Most salvias are from Mexico. Of course, in the UK we don't have hummingbirds, unfortunately. They can't make it away across the Atlantic, sadly, for us. Gorgeous Salvia Paintons Blue Angel, beautiful vivid blue flowers, and they are angel shaped with a bit of imagination. You can see a Salvia amistad at the back in bloom. Musa Basjew's getting some height now, it's growing a few leaves. Some of the leaves got tatty in the wind and rain, but obviously they're growing quickly now, so soon I'll be able to remove them when the new leaves shoot up. The Tifonia, which is a Mexican sunflower or an annual, they're really growing quick now. It's 3 feet in height, starting to get flower buds in the centre, so those will be flowering very shortly. And my Ensete Montebelliardii is done really well. I mean, its leaf there is huge. It's at least 2 foot in length. This is a new plant for me. I only got it in June, I think. Look at that, look at the purpley underside of that, beautiful. And you can see its new leaf in the centre. So, got Melianthus major, and the Alstroemeria Indian summer has been fantastic this summer. Been looking really good. It's starting to finish flowering now, but I'm hoping if I cut it back it'll flower again later on in the year. Got Canna Cleopatra, which has unstable variegation in the foliage and the flowers, but it's really attractive. And then Canna Singapore Girl, which will grow a lot taller than it is now. It's about 4.5 feet in height now, but it will get up to 6 feet before it will flower with bright orange flowers. Persicaria Red Dragon. I've got my acacia tree, Acacia duobata, which I pruned back several months ago. It's getting quite big. It's lovely against the blue sky, and that will flower in January, February time with yellow mimosa flowers. So I've got some Canterbury bells, which has fallen over. I need to stake them. And some delphiniums. I think that one's Excalibur. And then Salvia hot lips, which are red and white. Eucalyptus gunnii with Vitus or Vitis, especially red, which has glorious red colour foliage, which is a great contrast with this blue foliage in the autumn. And this border's really filled out now. You can see my heleniums are starting to flower really, really well. Unfortunately, I've got a pink phlox there, bright eyes, which is, I think you'll agree, a bit of a horrible combination with the orange helenium and the yellow schefflera. So I'm hoping to remove the phlox bright eyes, plant it in my cottage style border at the bottom of the garden, and replace it with the Tiburtina with the purple flowers that I showed you earlier. And I think that would be a fantastic contrast to the orange and yellow heleniums, and also the yellow variegation of the schefflera too. You can see how quickly that border has filled up now. See the tall grass at the back is Stipa gigantea. It's just changed its name. I think it's Cencrus now, or Kencrus. Colocasia Esculenta fontanesii is doing really well. It's hardy in some gardens these days. I find it quite hardy here, but I do like to bring a piece in just for insurance for the winter. And then we've got a lovely, very hardy Cercis canadensis forest pansy. I just love those heart-shaped leaves. Adds movement to the garden. You can see it moving on the breeze. Gorgeous, rich, plummy colour, which sets off all the greens really well. Santolina lemon fizz. It's coming to flower. The insects love it. I'll clip it straight after flowering to make sure it retains its dome-like habit. Some more heleniums. For those of you in the US, you'll know this is a wildflower for you. It grows in the prairies of North America, but there's many cultivars. Fantastic flowering plants that flower right up till October, November. Completely hardy, hard to minus 25 or so, perhaps even colder. Got Schefflera taiwaniana, which is proving quite hardy in the UK. Anthetti ventricosum and the drooping hardy Helianthus salicifolius. And the huge Tetrapanax papyrifera rex. It's absolutely huge. The leaves are 2.5 foot across. They are huge. So that brings me to the end of today's tour. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. and see you shortly.